Good afternoon, greetings and salutations. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Incarnasoul, well, you're my live. Okay, I had to turn off my other computer. Went live with me talking. But you're my first live person, Richard. So thank you, and thank you for voting. Okay, I'm having a little hot cocoa. It's really weird being in New England. So the weather temperature was supposed to be warm today, and I'm freezing. And I sometimes feel like when the weather is warmer, it's cold. And I think the snow melting and causing all of the gloominess makes it chillier. It could be Fat Tuesday. I was going to talk about Fat Tuesday, and I was going to sing a song about the Ring of Fire. I figured I'd wait a few minutes beforehand. Maybe get Ben in here and sing to him. I know he loves it. So, and we still have to schedule time, Richard, to talk about charismatic Catholics. And I wanted to apologize for last week. Thursday's show, I was filled with ums and filler words. It was hard for me to watch. So I'm going to try really hard today not to. Okay, there goes one puppy. Now I can sit back. It is just another day. I didn't do anything special. I've been under the weather, so I'm not, and I'm not practicing Catholic anymore. Not that I need an excuse to cheat and have something sweet and yummy, but I am trying to eat healthier, and I am trying to be more cognizant of what I'm putting into my body. Not easy. I know you know this. All right. Well, today is the 17th. Oh, don't look at me, dog. Hold on, Richard. Luca, no, you're going to have to sit down and wait for an hour. Can you wait? Come here. Come on. Did your brother steal your bone? He most certainly did. Here. Come on, up. I'm sorry. This is very distracting to have all these boys. Hopefully not the Adam Lampert version of American Idol. I don't know. I'm sure I've heard it because I followed Adam Lampert, but I don't remember. Anyway, so today we have a lot of energy happening, and I'm not a guru. So what I shared today is what I've gleaned from other channels. I did share in my community post on Shara L's description of what's going on. And then last night, and I know you were there, Richard, the three witches, Jimena, Trista, and Millie, had conversations about the Ring of Fire and some of the astrological stuff that's happening. And you are saying it's that weird mindset. We have to be nice soon. Let's be naughty. You used to work with a guru. Are you being silly, or are you? His name was Guru. I actually knew somebody that had that in their name, but it was not their official name. Okay, this pillow is really bothering me. Hold on, let me get myself acclimated. Yeah, I really liked Adam Lambert. He was outrageous and over the top, but really talented. I'm not as good lately following current musicians. When I hear them and it's a song, I'm going to be grooving to the tunes. play that funky music just popped into my head. And you know what I watched the other day? He's called Professor something. He does a whole recap of like the top 10 songs of the 70s or one hit wonders of the 70s and 80s or musicians that we didn't acknowledge because maybe they only had one real hit, but they were a band. It was so fascinating. I got looped into the craziness, but the songs, I know the songs. Those are my generation songs. So one of these days, I think we should do that. We should get Mish, Ben, and a few other musical people, and we should just inundate the channel with the songs. Now, I think that there's probably a YouTube rule that says we can't. I'm sorry. I feel like I've got a hair here. But I'm not 100% sure. Professor of Rock, yes. You watch him? I love him. I only recently found him, and maybe one of you guys turned me on to him. I don't even know. But it was so much fun. And I literally, because I was cleaning, I was like, do, 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 do. I was moving and grooving and just went, okay, I'll stop. I sub to his channel, great analysis. Some record companies are horrible with strikes on his channel. You're kidding. Those people suck. They suck. Really. All right, but that's not very charitable of me, is it? Okay. So, what do I want to say? What do I want to say? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And somehow I just opened up 3 or 4 windows on my computer, and I was really just trying to make our screen a little bit bigger so I could read. But the comments, I'm squinting. I guess I should use my eyeglasses, huh? Okay. So today, I'm incorporating multiple events or topics because they all came down to this moment in time, right? The fire eclipse, which I didn't understand I wouldn't be able to see. So I did get up to witness it. Unfortunately, there was so much haze from the temperature change and the sky being filled with moisture. And then someone said, oh, you can only see it in Antarctica. And I'm thinking, well, that's not an option. So we have February's theme, which is opening, right? Heart opening. And it's Heart Healthy Month. And as Steve-O has shared on our village community, it is Random Act of Kindness Day. And so I wanted to wrap all of these things together because they do connect, believe it or not. I'm trying to watch my words and I'm struggling. I want to keep using my filler words. I find it a challenge when you're used to using ums, so, the and. I don't want to be one of those channels that's constantly making you want to click off. I am not the guru about the fire eclipse or the being an Aquarius. Another song that's popping into my head. But what I think it's more of an invitation to incorporate these elements, right? So tonight, this afternoon, I wanted to talk a little bit about opening our heart and what that really means, because it's physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's also, Echo's here. Hello, Echo. Echo was with her girls. So she made it, and I'm really pleased that you did. We're just getting started with the topic, so you haven't really missed anything yet. I'm just going to have a little sip of tea. Oh my goodness, it's not tea, it's hot cocoa. I forgot what I was doing. I went to get myself a cup of tea and decided, ooh, hot cocoa tastes better. So as we talk about opening our heart in a world that's often encouraging us to close it and to shelter away from the madness of the world, I think I want to shake things up and just give myself permission to move forward in love, in community, in light, in goodness, and in kindness. The fire eclipse that everyone's talking about, from a hippy dippy perspective, it's really, instead of sitting on something that we've been wanting to do, it's lighting a fire under the tush to say, go do it. Enough saying you want change. Make it happen. And I've been talking about this for a while. Part of me has been a procrastinator or a resistor of change, of action, of doing something. And I've tried to analyze why. Am I afraid of what it means to make a change? Am I afraid of how people will perceive me? And I've worked really hard over the last X number of months and years that it's not as important to me anymore what other people think. Crumel, welcome. I hope you're well, Crumel. Yeah, I agree, Echo. Most people don't like change because it is an interrupter. But I also think that it's I was going to say inspire. It's inspiring. I got stuck on my word. I think sometimes what I do is I go quiet. But I think for me at this point, I need to keep pushing. I need to take action. I've been talking about making change. I need to put up or shut up. I also think I've swallowed my truth for so long. And that's something that I want to encourage others to say, look, live your truth. At the end of the day, you only have to answer to you. So if you're doing and leading and living your life in kindness and in truth, anybody else's voice is not as effective anymore because they don't have that power to stunt my personal growth. Fire is this element of courage. It doesn't have to be dramatic, right? For me, it's the courage of telling the truth. And that's what this time period means if we're going to get into that. Because I'm not an astrological person, I don't understand all the bells and whistles. There are others that are far superior to that. I let them talk about those topics. But for me, from a conversation, what one thing do you feel like is nudging you to look at yourself more honestly, or to take an action more honestly, or just to take a step forward in living who you truly want to be? And that's where I think I want to take that piece of it. So I'm also squinting at trying to read the comments, guys. Sorry, I should put these glasses on. Echo says the first steps towards change are the hardest, but then the results of the changes are wonderful. And you're a perfect example of that in many ways. But your Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays exercise segment, it's not easy to get yourself up off the couch or off the chair and move it and shake it. You know what I mean? Light a fire under your bum. But once you do it and you start to see the changes, then it becomes almost joyful because look what's happening. My arms are getting toner. My tush is getting lifted in toner. It's my belly's getting a little bit firmer. In my case, we have a little ways to go, but I'm working on it. Carmel says, I am being the best I can be under the circumstances. Still in the hospital, having tests done on me to see what's going. Oh, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you receive it. I'm so sorry that you are still struggling. This is ridiculous. I wish there was a magic wand I could wave in your direction. So know that I am absolutely thinking of you. If you accept prayers, I pray for you as well. So as we talk about February being an opening theme, right? An opening is not about being exposed. It's about being intentional, right? For me, it's letting someone help me instead of insisting, no, I got it. I can do it. Partly that's because I don't want to be rejected, but by opening and letting someone else in, it's also an act of kindness. And I also think that letting yourself just cry sometimes, instead of holding it all together, there is this physical release that takes place. And I heard this phrase. Give me a minute to think about it. I think it's called, so opening up your heart or opening up your spirit or your emotions is like micro bravery, not micro brewing, micro bravery. It's softening your heart, where in the past for me, I wore armor. I built a castle. I built a moat with a drawbridge, and I put myself in a bird cage filled with barbed wire so no one could hurt me anymore. Right? Opening and this awareness that I've been talking about with you all, I'm stepping out of those ancestral voices that kept telling me, you're not really good enough. You're not worthy. You're not this. You're not. And I absorbed that and made it become my voice. And under a couple of teachers, and Nanako is one of those that I've been studying under, what's my voice really saying? And sit with that. Pray, meditate, contemplate, talk amongst the peoples. What is my voice? What do I have to say? And what's important for me? And it's a release, right? It's allowing what's true for me to be my words, not someone else's, not mom, dad, uncle, auntie, neighbor, friend, spouse. It's choosing my voice is my micro bravery. And the fire, if you want to bridge that topic to the eclipse, it's like cracking a shell open, right? And so that's kind of the thing that I've been flitting around in my brain. Richard says, interesting question. I'd say the current environment of divisionism has prompted me to dig deep to avoid that mindset. And that is so hard. I agree with you. Divisionism, separatism, right? The voices and the anger and the gaslighting. I sit here sometimes, or I'm in the dog park and I'm listening and I want to scream, are you tripping? Open your eyes. But we all have to come to that in our own space and in our own time. You are so welcome, Richard. Cromel, anything, anytime. Richard says, all of the quick card readings I've gotten from Jimena or Elizabeth have centered on change. Enough so that I backed off from asking for any cards. I know the answer. Yes. So, funnily enough, I've been getting similar readings from Elizabeth. She's like, you just got to grab onto it. What's holding you back? And it's me holding me back. And that's the conversation. Why? And when I think about being heart-centered this month, you know, I love this month because my heart, it's not just this physical organ that has been resuscitated, but it's my emotional and my spiritual center, my core that was reborn in some ways. That the light from that came through for me that said, girl, here's your chance. It was a teaching moment. Stress, grief, loneliness, all impact that ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. I love how I use my hands. You can tell I'm Italian. I'm talking with my hands. I hope it's not too distracting. Kindness, connection, laughter. That is what is the teachable moment for me. That's what I want to bring to this channel. That's what I want to bring to my friendships. That's what I want to bring wherever I go. And so I would ask you guys, when is the last time anybody had a real belly laugh? Like your chest opened and you just let out a roar. Now, I don't know if anyone's gotten sick of me saying this, but my two puppies make me laugh all the time. And the other day, my little one, so Biscotti's my little chunka-munka cookie. He's just this thick boy, sound asleep right now, kind of snoring like a trucker. So look out, you might hear him. Luca is the runt of the litter, or was the runt of the litter. And we're in the dog park, and he so wanted to get from this space to this space. Now, he could go through a path that, you know, all of us adults, humans, sort of stomped and created a path. Nope. He leapt over, sunk down, popped his head up, and it was like, oops, I don't know how I got here, and I don't know how to get out of here. Belly, and I let a roar out because I think we hold our I got to stop saying we. I hold my laughter in because someone made fun of my laugh and said, you know, I'm not even going to repeat it because it's not worth giving it validity. That was a long time ago. I laughed a lot, and I am a little resentful of anyone criticizing my laugh or my voice. And I've been finding that whenever there's an opportunity, I'm not holding it back anymore. These two chuckleheads make me laugh all the time in huge belly laughs. I woke up this morning to a tushy in my face. Biscotti was on my chest, his tush in my face. I look up and I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted to see first thing in the morning. And then the other one scooched himself right underneath my arm. So I have a face here and a tush here. I just, I was like, okay, thank you for this blessing because what a way to start your day. And it really did bring tears to my eyes with joy. So I wonder, when was the last time you had a true belly laugh or really let out a big cry? Because I think that's medicine for the heart as well, right? And when we talk about opening the heart, we're not just talking about this spiritual poetry of, oh, open your heart and let the light in. We're talking about literal heart health. I want to take a break and just see if anybody else is in the chat. Okay, I think I caught up. All right, yes, I did. And in this Mardi Gras day, right? It's the end of Mardi Gras. It's the big celebration that happens, and it's a massive party, right? In preparation for a lot of people that practice Lent. Here's my ignorance, and I should have done some research on this. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. I swear I turned this darn phone off. Hold on. All right, there we go. Is Lent only a Catholic thing? I don't think so. Is it celebrated throughout Christianity? I'm sure it is. And I'm drawing a big old brain fart on it. But then the Lenten season, right, is about sacrifice, I guess. And I thought about, Ash Wednesday, which is tomorrow, and I don't celebrate anymore. It's 40 days of fasting, prayer, and repentance leading up to Easter. And the tradition was that you gave something up during Lent as devotion. We do in Lutheran churches with an offshoot of Catholic. Okay. So do you get ashes echo on Lent? Do you actually do that? I really feel ignorant on this. I can't believe I don't know more about you do. All right. Excellent. So it's not just Catholics. I just grew up in that environment. And when I was in Boston, there was a chapel within, it was a big mall that had corporate buildings and shops and restaurants. And it had this little church that was packed for Ash Wednesday. So much so that you had it staggered throughout the whole dang day because they couldn't accommodate all of these people. So you'd walk through the malls and you'd have all these people with ashes on their forehead. So many people would stop and say, "What? You have ashes?" What? They didn't say ashes. They said, "What do you have on you?" And I'd be like, "Oh, we're preparing for Easter, so it's Ash Wednesday." And it was also Bee's here. Hello, Bee. Thank you for being here. So the celebration of Mardi Gras is just another invitation for awareness. Dust to dust, our bones will rust, and we will start again. I don't even know what to say to that. Oh, my grave, you make me laugh. Okay, so I got to get back to random acts of kindness. So today, and it was Steve-O that said, it's Random Act of Kindness Day, which is perfect, I think, for this topic because it's about our heart-centered practices, right? Kindness interrupts the stress response. And I'm going to tie this in medically in a minute because it lowers blood pressure. It increases oxytocin, which I'm going to talk about. So bear with me. But it doesn't have to be dramatic, right? And that's why I'm saying in the poll here, do you prefer to do a random act of kindness or receive? And I guess it doesn't have to be one or the other. But one of the things that happened to me, and I think I've shared this story before, is I was really upset when I was in college one day and I was walking on the streets of Boston. I had been crying or I was still crying. And this guy had a handful of roses that I'm assuming he was bringing to his girlfriend. And he took one out and he gave it to me. Wow. Receiving that flower literally raised my vibration to a moment of joy. I was acknowledged. My pain was acknowledged. The other way that we can do something like a random act of kindness, if you're driving and someone needs to get in front of you, let someone merge in traffic. It's a way of, it's not, we're all getting to the same traffic stop, right? We're all getting to the same red light. Let somebody in. The other thing that I do, and this is partly what I love about performing random acts of kindness, not every day, but most days, I'll send a text to somebody I know that's going through stuff and I'll just say, thinking of you. I think that's the one thing about this community that I'm at a loss is that I can't really do that, right? It has to be done here in this community, on my channel, on someone else's channel. I can send love to Carmel at a distance. I want him to know I'm sending it to him all the time. But it's not like I can just text him and say, hey, I'm thinking of you, pal. Hang in there. Have a good day. You know, any kind of encouragement. So leaving a positive comment on someone's post, right, is another great way. And I'm not fishing, but when you're on someone's channel, leave them a thumbs up, leave them a little message. It really does uplift someone. Oh, someone watched. Um, and I think that sort of anchoring kindness with this fire eclipse in real life, it's just opening it up, right? It's supporting our physical heart health. It's allowing us to move forward with what's important to us. Now, I am going to just pause a second and I'm going to go forward to talk about how oxytocin, say that 3 times fast, dopamine and endorphins impact our physical and emotional and spiritual health, right? I had to look this up, guys, because, and now that that I had read it, it reminded me of what it was. When you release oxytocin in your body, it's called a connection hormone. So what it's doing is it's softening the nervous system, which lowers the stress and helps you feel safe. So that warm, gushy feeling that you get when someone holds the door for you, holds your hand, whispers sweet nothing, that's oxytocin, that feeling, right? Dopamine's like a reward signal in your head. So oxytocin doesn't work alone, which is why I had to do my research, because I know the 3 are interconnected, but I couldn't have explained it to you. So again, don't hold me to this, people. And I'm not a physician or a medical professional, and I don't play one on YouTube. So don't hold this against me and do your own research. But what I understand that with oxytocin, your brain releases dopamine. And I wish Ben was here because he's my neurotransmitter person. The neurotransmitter associated with that is like a motivation and a reward. That little spark of feel good stuff that happens. That's the dopamine. It's your brain saying more of this. That's why sugar has been linked to this, because your brain receives that, oh my God, this is so delicious. And it has the same reward or the same impact as serious drugs or alcohol. Your brain gets it and says, oh man, this is great. I want more of this, right? There is a balance here, of course, and then the endorphins kick in, and they're sort of the cool operators, right? That's the body's natural feel-good chemicals. They help reduce stress and create a sense of lightness. See how this is all working together? So think about that feeling after we have a really good laugh or a really good cry or a really good hug, right? The endorphins are doing their job. And I'm sorry I'm laughing. Biscotti is sitting next to me, sleeping next to me, and he's snoring. And I really wish I had a microphone I could put next to him. He's so happy in his little snoring world. There's just no other joy. So he's cracking me up. So let me just tie this together. So how they work in a trio, if you will, a 3-part chemical symphony. Dun, da, da. Oxytocin opens the heart and builds connection. Dopamine, it gives you this sense of joy and reward. And the endorphins soothe the body and reduce the stress. What did the article say this threesome was. Helper's high. I think it's called a helper's high. Okay. Maybe I'm glad Ben's not in the chat. Spiritually, it's the body saying, this is who you are and this is what you were built for. And so I wanted to connect that with random acts of kindness because all three of these are part of a random act of kindness, whether you're receiving or giving. Kindness is this sort of powerful practice that we can do for ourselves. And we've talked about this. I've talked about it using, Don Miguel Ruiz and, using our words wisely, intentionally. When we say something, we can lift another human being up, even if that person is a cranky pants. There's lots of cranky pantses out there. But you will 9 times out of 10, there's always that outlier. By saying something nice to someone, you will give them a shot of oxytocin. You will give them a shot of dopamine. You will give them a shot of endorphin and almost take away, I think of a balloon and popping a balloon, right? You take the air out of the wind out of their sails, the air out of the balloon. And it just invites softness for a moment in time. It's not just a moral choice. I don't know if that's the right word. It's this doorway into being more open, which is what we've been talking about for the month of February, opening. When we tie it back to our heart health. I'm glancing at the chat, guys. Okay, so it's kind of quiet. The oxytocin rises and the body naturally shifts into this calmer state. When the dopamine rises, the motivation increases. And one of the things that I read and listened on other channels when it comes to this Fire Eclipse and Fire Horse in the Chinese zodiac is, we need to take action now. No more talking about, yeah, I want to. It's doing. And then the endorphins rise and your stress decreases. I think I need my endorphins to rise a little bit more often. But all of these support our heart, our physical heart, not just as a medical treatment, but as part of our emotional and spiritual well-being. Where we live, our heart thrives. And, so I would encourage, challenge, think of a moment when somebody was unexpectedly kind to you. What did you feel in your chest? Warmth, softening, relief? That's your body responding. I love the way I feel after my workouts because of these feel-good chemicals. Absolutely. You eat, girl. Have a good dinner. I hope it's something scrumptious. Bacon! We've been talking about you. You're lurking? That's okay, friend. We've thrown in some songs. We've talked about neurotransmitters, which I was hoping you'd chime in. But that's all right. You lurk. There may be some other channels going live now anyway. But feeling grounded is tying together our ability to know what is true for us. Right? Finding our own personal voice, our own personal desires. And then as we work in collaboration with other people, whether on YouTube or in our professional lives or even in our personal lives or our familial lives, because all of those are different. Pausing is always key here. Using your words intentionally, we can affect kindness by just our very presence. We can radiate a higher vibration of love, of light, of community by taking that moment in time and then taking action, speaking words of wisdom, allowing ourselves to be free of the restrictions and the restraints and choosing to make the best choices for what we want to achieve. So I've talked about this before. I didn't want to just be here a year later saying, well, next year I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, when right now is absolutely the right time to do it. And that's what people are talking about, the fire eclipse. It's do it now. Get off your bum and take the risk, take the chance, do it. So I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you, when you are afforded the opportunity, to do a random act of kindness. You know, in community, you know, we could, if you're on Dunkin' Donuts line and you're buying yourself a coffee, put a couple of dollars to the car behind you. You don't have to pay for their whole coffee. You can just say, hey, keep the change. You know, maybe you gave them a 5 and your coffee was $3. Ha ha. But you know where I'm going with this. I have been on the receiving end of that random act of kindness where someone paid for my coffee and my muffin at the time. And I was tickled pink. I was like, oh my gosh. And it came at the best time for me. The next time I went to Dunkin' Donuts, I did the same thing. I said to the lady, and I could see behind me there was only one person in the car. I think if it was a family, I probably wouldn't have done it at that time. Coffee. Oh, did I say coffee? Oh, I said coffee. And yes, Echo, do it scared, because there really is nothing to be afraid of. That's the old voices in our head. One of the things that somebody said to me once, and I challenged my dad on this. What is failure? Seriously, if what you want to do isn't as successful as you intended, did the world fall apart? Did someone's feelings get hurt? Did you break the bank? Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying drop your retirement savings on an idea without doing your research, right? But if what you wanted to do is start a new exercise routine, eating better, put it out there. I have put it out on this channel. Echo has put it out on this channel. Ben is working his bum off, right? So where possible, we've taken a risk and we've just done it. So just do it. That was whoever coined that for Nike. Wow. What a marketing campaign, because that will never go out of style. And even for me, when I have multiple projects in my house, they need to be done. I have been sitting on my laurels, my behind, not doing them, because why? And when I couldn't answer the question, I said, well, very much what Echo just said. Just do it. Do it for 5 minutes. Do it for 10 minutes. And as I've been doing this every single day, a little bit each day, I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling better. What was I afraid of? Or, what, that I wasn't going to warm the couch for another 10 minutes? I'm still going to sit my ass on the couch. So, but even sitting on the couch, I'm doing my hand exercises. I'm squishing the tush. I don't know if anybody can see me bouncing a little bit, but that's exercise, right? I'm not talking and engaging my abs because it will impact how I'm speaking. I'm journaling every bloody day, and I'm putting a post out every day. I didn't think that one through. I got to be honest. Maybe I should have said I would do it once a week because 365 days, ooh, this is going to be fun. And I'm sure there's going to be some repetition in some of my journal posting prompts. But I needed the kick in the pants to do it. Why is journaling important? For me, it was to access what's holding me back. What brings me joy? Where's the gratitude and the gratefulness and the appreciation? I want to live in kindness. And there's no halo. Nobody sees a halo, right? There's no halo here. I'm not always the kindest human being. I have been reactive so much of my life. It was a defense mechanism. And the last year or so, especially taking this other course that has been almost 2 years now, it's responding. And Reiki teaches you to respond. Prayer teaches you to respond. First of all, I'm not God. It's not my place to judge you and your decisions and your actions. I need to take that mirror and turn it around and say, oh, hello. Why are you judging that person? What makes you so special? Ah, you see some of yourself in that other person. We need to respond. And I'm not saying that anger has no place. I'm not saying that indignation or being incensed at an event and something, in Rhode Island recently, in our neck of the woods, there was a stupid, senseless shooting. I wanted to go banana cakes. And instead, I just sat quietly for a moment. And I wanted to offer a prayer of light, of love, of compassion, because whatever it was that triggered that event, someone was in pain. The recipients were in pain. It's not for me to say, did they deserve it? Didn't they deserve? That's not my job. It's not my method. It's not. And there was this air of superiority that I used to interject in these situations because it made me feel heard, seen, important. I don't know. Comparing myself to others when I thought everyone had so much more than me. What's the so much more? What's the thing? As you open your heart, as you use your breath, as you slow yourself down, as you allow the oxytocin and the dopamine and the endorphins to really work as a team, I want that light to come out. I want the love to be my first response. Anyone that follows the Jesus way, he had 2 commandments: love God and love your neighbor. That's it. That's it. Everything else is secondary, because by that simple act of loving your neighbor, regardless of who your neighbor is, what their creed is, what their color is, what their anything that's unique to, that's not you, well, that's love. And that's acceptance. And that's kindness. And so, sorry I'm late, Teresa. Oh, Fiona. You did make the live, and we're happy you're here, Fiona. Everybody wave and say hi to Fiona. So I think Teresa's thinking, so this is not, YouTube or anyone else endorsing, that's the word I was looking for, my philosophy. But I think kindness is just a moment in time. For me, especially. I'm very pig-headed, stubborn. I'm also 62, going to be 63, right? So I've had 62 years to hone in this attitude and way of thinking. It takes a lot, like an onion, peeling those layers back to get to the very core of who I am, of who I want to be. I want to be kinder. I don't want to be snippy. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't even want to be critical. And yes, it's very hard to do in this world. And you watch the news or any of the YouTube pundits, or I'm hurt and I'm angry watching what's happening with Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old woman kidnapped out of her home for what freaking purpose? I think for those of us that are observing, it's about compassion. It's about community and prayer and enveloping her or her spirit with love and light, and her family. I don't know what the outcome is, right? But whomever did this, where is my compassion for that person? What limiting belief did that person have in themselves that they felt this was a choice that this person could do to somehow benefit? I don't want to get into it. I brought that up just as an example, but it's resorting to kindness first. There is a place for anger. I definitely, I shake my head. I shake my head at what happened in Rhode Island. I shake my head at what happened to that police officer that got shot. I forget where. Was it Texas? I'm drawing a blank. But I would just ask people to pause. And I would ask us all to incorporate what we've learned today, which is this fire eclipse, this random act of kindness, the heart health month, the opening your being theme for the month. Ben, I just caught that. You made me lose my train of thought. I'll come back to you in a minute. Richard, you take why Rhode Island isn't an island. But I don't believe those are coincidences, and I don't believe any of this is a coincidence. I believe that these are invitations. It's an opportunity for us to explore what it means to open our heart, to have that physical, emotional, and spiritual connection. Right? And doing it with gentleness, with humor, with honesty, with compassion. So I know there's a lot of other shows tonight that some of you are all going to be participating in. I am going to try to pop in on some of them. I did make Jimenez last night at 11. Almost killed me to stay up that late, but I missed Victor because I just couldn't keep my eyes open. And then I woke up, and anyway, so trying to watch all of my favorite YouTubers. And I don't know if there's anything else going on. I know Laura, Let Spirit Guide channel is on. She does readings as well. And so Richard, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to pop in because I don't know if I want another card reading. I've gotten the message. It's been pretty clear. It's do it. Just do it. Do what I want to do, even if I'm afraid, even if I don't want to look like an idiot. Just do it. I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry, guys. So I mentioned Rhode Island. Ben says, why isn't Rhode Island an island? Richard comes in and says, Ben, it isn't a road either. So see, laughter. That's kicking in the oxytocin, the dopamine, and is a stress reliever with the endorphins. What a great way to end the show today. I hope you guys, let me go to the poll. Did everybody do the poll? Oh, wow. Hands down, 90%. Love giving kindness. Isn't that nice? So for those of you catching the replay, or for those of you here right now, please like and subscribe. I had a complete brain freeze just then. Maybe I need some more hot cocoa. And I made myself a meatloaf. So I'm really excited about that for dinner. You just got the joke. You have a friend who lives in Rhode Island? My goddaughter lives in Rhode Island with her kids. I just haven't connected. It is still a couple of hours away, and it's not that far, but it is a haul for a 1-day trip. 2 hours plus there, 2 hours plus back. I have the puppers, so sometimes I get to. Subject for off YouTube. My family was involved in found. I so want to talk to you about that. Yes, I do. Woohoo. All right. It's not for YouTube. I got it. Google Meet. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. So we're here Thursday. Don't forget, next Tuesday, a week from today, my best friend's coming on to talk about her witnessing and being there during my heart event and making life or death decisions for me, because I didn't have anybody at the time. And I'll talk a little bit about what I experienced in whatever altered space and time I was in, because I can't tell you, was it when I was being resuscitated and I was dead, or was it when I was intubated and heavily medicated? When did I have that out of body experience? And why was my experience not like some of the ones that you read other people having had that kind of experience? So that's next Tuesday. This coming Thursday, I don't know. I have a couple of thoughts in mind, but I want to send you all with so much gratitude, love, light, health for our friend Kermel. Let's send him lots, waves of healthy thoughts to him, and to anyone else that needs it, to anyone else that feels a little lost or down or a little blue. I love you. Thank you for being here. I send you with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, with gratitude, sprinkled with laughter and joy and lots of giggles. So until we meet again, I bless you. Have a great night, and I'll see you on the other side. Well, not that side.